Welcome, everybody. It's Gull Khan here, your money mindset expert, and I help entrepreneurs to break free from limiting beliefs, to reverse their money shame, and to blast through their money blocks so that they can live a life of unlimited abundance. And I have the pleasure and the honor today to be speaking to the one and only Steph, who is a part of our mastermind and who has been working with me for the past just under a year now, and has been part of the mastermind since it began in January. And we're going to be talking about her, what she does, and also what results she's actually achieved or has had since working and doing the mastermind with me. So Steph, welcome. How are you, my lovely?
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here, and I'm really excited to share some of the juiciness that has happened behind the curtain in the mastermind.
Awesome. So Steph, before we begin, tell us who you are and what you do, and why do I love you so much?
Well, why do you love me so much? I think we just have a magical alchemical connection. I'm a spiritual business strategist, and I help women, especially those in their first 3 years, create a business that aligns with their strengths and just radiates their soul. So I connected with you in a very magical way, and it felt very divinely timed and coordinated. And it's just been this magical on-ramp to even more of what I'm meant to do from there.
Wow. Yeah, it was very magical how we sort of connected and how we sort of started working together. It was just meant to be. It's just so a lot of serendipitous moments there. So Steph, before you started working with me, and even before the mastermind, what sort of where were you at? Because I know you have the knowledge. I mean, you're phenomenal with the amount of knowledge you have, the expertise, and how you actually have helped me in my business, because you're just so great at saying, okay, do this and do that and shape it this way and do that, and it just comes to you so naturally. So what do you think was blocking you before you came into the mastermind or started working with me?
Well, first, I just want to claim I am very skilled at sprinkling possibility potion across so many things. And I went through this very intense space in my life where my identity changed. I had worked for the government, and as a part of me leaving and shifting into this new space, I went on this pilgrimage. I wound up going to India. I came back and had this very dramatic collapse of my first business. Wow. And so I think one of the most outward signs when we first met of where I had been and where I was going was actually that there was still so much like energetic clutter from my old life and my old identity. Yeah. So there was a lot of pain, there was a lot of anger, and I really needed like an incredible just swim in the pool of forgiveness. And I didn't even know it. You're the one that taught me that. Yeah. And so when we first met, I was in this space where it was very clear on what I needed to do in outward ways, growing my business and being really specific that it's not even just a business, it's a calling. And it's not even a calling, it's like this revolution. It's a movement that I happen to be towards like the frontier of, but it's so much bigger than me. So when we met, I was in this space where it just felt incongruent. Like I had all of these things externally that I needed to do, but inside things weren't quite lining up. Yeah. Ooh, okay, goosebumps all over my body.
Yeah, I remember discussions early on, and I remember those talks completely. So what actually happened during, before we started working before the mastermind, especially since the mastermind happened, how has that helped you in solidifying your business? Because you actually know most of the things I talk about. I focus on forgiveness a lot, but apart from that, you yourself are somebody who's quite intuitive, and it helps other people along in their businesses. So how did mastermind help you?
Yeah, and I want to take a moment and just point that out, how there can be this bridge between knowledge and implementation.
Yeah.
And like so many of the things that you've talked about, like are true to me, are important to me, and also living them and embodying them are a crucial part of what has to happen in order for them to be like a guiding compass. Yeah. And I hadn't internalized, there's so many different components. So let me focus on the tangible things. So in the very, I think it was like in the very first 5 minutes of the very first mastermind call, I had $130,000 US of debt, business debt cleared.
Yeah.
And I was ready to fall out of my chair. I couldn't tell you. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, I remember that.
Which was like an incredible lifesaver. It was a lifesaver.
Yeah.
And a life giver. And so many of the calls that happened on the mastermind had some sort of element of tangible action, whether it was when I was on the call or immediately afterwards or the next day. I was getting client inquiries and business opportunities. But the big thing, other than holy shit, that happened right away. And in terms of energy, like my body felt it too, like I felt this whoosh of energy and this clearing and congruence that happened like with each call. But the other thing that's happened like so clearly is that all of the outward circumstances are lining up to what on the inside I feel about this being a movement, a revolution, like something so much bigger than me. It's only gotten bigger. When we started the mastermind, I had a community of people and a whole bunch of clients, but it was like very top down. And now it feels like something that's much bigger than me, but broader. And the reason why that's important is because I know I don't have to do it my own. Like I don't have to do it myself. And I've basically got 7 people on staff now in some form or capacity. And that is starting from 0. Like literally it was me. And I had 1 part-time helper. But it's been an incredible shift in terms of the amount of like sophistication and complexity, but all of that is a reflection of how much things are scaling and growing. And I'm so excited to see what's next. And that's the way it feels. It's like this energy has been building, it feels like a beautiful, non-destructive tsunami.
Yeah, it has. I mean, I've seen your business over the last 6 months has grown exponentially with your retreats, and they're sold out, and you're doing business which you are aligned with and you're happy. And I remember seeing, I know you do because I'm in your group as well. So I see all the feedback you get back from your clients, which is phenomenal. I mean, I know how wonderful and amazing you are because we work together. But it's so nice and refreshing to see other people sort of, validate you. It's like, oh my God, that was the best thing ever. And that gave me so much shifts. And it's not the money factor, it's the fact that you're changing lives. And that's what I love seeing, because you are literally going and changing these women's lives, which is phenomenal. And it's just, it makes me so happy and proud that I played a little part in that I helped you to shift some of your blocks, which allowed you to go and make this massive impact in these women's lives. And that must be so wonderful to you to experience, right?
It feels so good because it's only been 2 years, 2017. I'm getting reminders on Facebook now. It was May, June, July of 2017 when my first business collapsed. So that in some ways doesn't feel that far away. In other ways, it feels like it's been a century.
Yeah, lifetime away. Yeah. And especially the way this current business is growing, and it's in alignment with you, your energy, and your, what you see for yourself, and the kind of movement you're bringing to this business world. It really is a movement. It's completely different and unique from the conventional so-called, striped businessman kind of image that we have of businesses. Wonderful, because I love that. I'm all for that. All right, so let's talk now about the mastermind is divided into 2 parts. We have the clearing sessions and we have the manifestation call, which is very, very unique concept, because I don't know anybody else who does the manifestation calls and use the Maharishi effect the way I do. And I find them super, super powerful. I know you've had amazing results from that. Every time we get on a manifestation call, you get some sort of result. So do you want to share that? What's happened with you every time we got on a manifestation call, which is bi-weekly?
Yeah, so they are really unique. And I think one of the things that I like best about them is how it feels like the energy flows. You mentioned me being intuitive. I'm very intuitive and I'm very energy sensitive, so I can feel just a lot. And I like I've gotten to the point where I've reserved the days on my calendar so that like basically nothing else happens on those days, so I can integrate like all of the energy that wants to come through, because it feels so important. And it also feels like, I don't know, as if I'm going to the dentist, you know, like when you get plaque taken off of your teeth, like, except it's like plaque on my energy body, like all of the things that have been holding me back, that have been blocking like my natural abundance and radiance, that these calls have been just like excising it painlessly and powerfully.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of hard to explain. Like, you do these calls and I see things in my mind's eye. And then invariably, like that day, the next day, overnight, sometime, like I'll wake up, you know, and I'll get on my email or social media, and, you know, there'll be like somebody that wants to interview me on their podcast, or like, it's hard to categorize, because there's been so many different kinds of things that have happened, like over however long it's been, 7 months. There's been so many different styles of things, like, you know, clients that hadn't paid me all of a sudden paying me, you know, like so many different kinds of things. Calling the IRS and not having any issues with it, and like getting the most magical person ever. like, yeah, I could probably come up with like 30 different like separate things, but the underpinning, you know, like the backbone of all of them was just like more magic is available, and more abundance, and more ease. And yeah, I feel like what this mastermind has done has removed like all of the bullshit, you know, and all of the, I don't know, like maybe even ancestral luggage that I've been carrying around, just like.
We do. Yeah, it does. The energy clearance with it. Yeah.
Whoosh.
Yeah.
And with the manifestation calls too, just like reuniting me with abilities that I'd forgotten that I had.
Yeah.
To be able to like call in these things. Like, it just feels like the most powerful and also the most natural thing. Like, of course we're supposed to live this way. Of course we can do this. And you've got all of this magical teaching inside of you where you know how to move the energy. So you're helping all of these people to remember it. But
yeah. Lovely. So that's the manifestation puzzle. And how have we found my clearings? My energy clearings are very unique. They're unique to me. I use my voice, the tonality of my voice, the words, and the energy, all as a combined together as one single modality to cleanse your energy, and I call them energy clearings. How have you find them? How do they help you?
So I would just say, everybody who's listening, like, it took me a while to get acclimated to them. Yeah. And what I mean by that is so there have been times in the past when you've done these clearings where I like needed to eat as much food as I could fit into my face afterwards. So I was like, hurry up now. And there have been also times where I needed to like drink what felt like a gallon of water. It was probably, you know, more like a liter or two. But my body has had a really, really strong response to clearings, to the point where since January, I've basically gotten to the habit of having a bath like 5 nights a week. There's been like so much energy that has been detoxed, you know, from me and through me, that it's basically a requirement of my new life. I have to at least have like a foot soak, if not something that's bigger. It's been super powerful.
Yeah.
And again, like, you're in London, I'm in DC. I was waking up at, 5 a.m. to dial into these calls and then go back to sleep, which was perfect for me because my body needed the time, to integrate all of this energy. I feel like I've connected with superpowers because of these calls.
Wow. Well, that's a compliment. Wow, that is a real compliment.
Your
Thank you
work
so
is
much.
really powerful.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm going to take those compliments. I really receive them with all humility. So if someone was on the fence, Steph, so, because obviously the mastermind is a commitment. It requires a year-long commitment, and it requires both financial and time commitment. So financially, it's not a low end, it's a high end mastermind. And time-wise, it does require weekly, being committed to on a weekly basis for the next 12 months. And if someone's in the fence thinking, well, Gull, I really think this sounds interesting, but I don't think I have the time, or I don't have the money yet. I'll do it when I have the money. What would you say to that person?
So I think the thing that like shows up right away is just change can be really scary, and that's okay. But that doesn't mean that it's not worth it, because I know on my own that all of this stuff probably would have taken me like 10 years to do. And it probably would have been scary.
Yeah.
Doing it on my own. So just being able to have support and community and this acceleration feels so delicious. So I would say to the person that's thinking about it, like, really be on to yourself if what you are tuning into is the mental yes, the mental no that's covering up the body's yes. Like, is it fear and resistance of shifting and letting go? Because like, I'm walking, I have a meditation practice, like there's a lot of things that I'm doing in support of this that were like installed, that had to be installed for me to show up as a different version of myself. So in order to do that, like, I've had to let some things go, and I've also had to let myself let it be good.
Yeah.
Because there was trauma from my first business collapsing, and there was a little part of me that didn't want things to be good, because then that meant that I would have things to lose. So yeah, I think just tuning into, what is your mind saying versus what is your body, your heart, your gut, that like axis where your intuition will live. What is that saying?
Yeah.
Because I think you are so magical that people will have this sense of being drawn to you, and maybe like their brain won't be able to explain why.
Yeah.
Because some of the stuff that you do is kind of hard to explain until you experience it the first time. I have to
definitely.
As it was happening, I was like, oh yeah, no, this is why this is hard to explain, because there's so much energy. Like, your woo as fuck, sister. in very practical packaging, which I think is important. Yeah. So I think just being willing to say yes to the next version of yourself, and even just like having a conversation with you to feel the energy, because it's there. Like, this is obviously what you do. It's obviously your magic. Like, my professional capacity is like basically being an oracle and seeing when people are aligned with their soul gifts and their unique genius. And this is it for you. I mean, it's fucking powerful. So
yeah, I mean, I definitely think I'm here on the planet to change the massive, the massive conception and ideology around money. I'm here as money's representative, as money's best friend, showcasing what amazing energy money holds, and what's possible if you allow the abundance, allow money into your life, and take away the ickiness, the greediness, all the negative emotions that we attach to money, and bring out the amazing, the loving, the companion, the friend type of money, and that can bring that energy to the world, and allowing people to experience that, and allowing people to allow the flow of money, which unfortunately they've blocked off. So I think I'm definitely doing my higher purpose. I'm aligned with what I'm supposed to do, and that's why I have such a passion for it. And I'm happy to say that I don't think there's anybody else out there who respects and loves money as much as I do. I'm happy to do that.
I love this vision of you like acting as the representative and the best friend. Like, that feels really
That's in alignment with, I think that really feels truly aligned with who I am. I am representing money, and I'm being, I'm talking on behalf of money and telling people, I'm not a bad thing. I'm not a bad person. Just give me a chance. Okay, so thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom and all your magic with us, Steph. Tell us, where can we find you? And can you give us your social media handle so we know where you are?
Yeah, so much my pleasure. Uplifting you feels like, it feels good as a person, but I just can't wait to see who else is going to experience your magic in the next year. People, get ready for your mind to be blown. I'm mostly on social media at Your Sacred Craft. So on Instagram, and I have a Facebook group, and I have a podcast. So just search Your Sacred Craft and I'll be there.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing your magic with us, Steph. And everybody, thank you so much for watching today. And I'll be back with another mastermind, a person who, by the way, is not alumni yet, because they're here for another 6 months. It's a 12-month program. So if you join the mastermind, you'll see them in there anyway. But with another person, sharing the experience of what they felt like, as part of the magic that is within the mastermind itself and working with me.
Get in here.
Thank you for sharing this moment with me, Steph, and thank you everybody for watching. And I'll see you next time, another time with another person, another place. Until then, take care and bye for now. Bye.